Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Happy Monday and start to a new week. So, the plan for today is first to get rid of this weird box. Then, next plan for the day is to let us know what this week is going to look like. So, it's technically a 4-day week with a 4-day weekend. So, that's kind of an amazing start to it. So, looking at the plans for the week, first off, on Monday, I want to do a bit of a review activity. Since we can't really have a discussion online in a way that we usually would, I'd like us to do a bit of review for Chapter 4 because I'm not sure if we got some of the information that I wanted us to get. So, I want us to kind of go back in time so that Chapter 6 makes a bit more sense to us. So, first off, there's an activity that I made called Stories and Their Tellers. There's this weird situation in The Great Gatsby where there's a lot of different characters telling you a lot of different information, and it's never for sure how much you can trust them or what their objectives are, and sometimes it can be a little confusing when we change narrators. So I have an activity where I want you guys to dive back into chapter 4 and look at one of those examples of that kind of story switch. So, looking at this, it's called Stories and Their Tellers. There are 3 basic stories in Chapter 4. The first one is when Gatsby is talking about his past and who he says he is and where that stuff comes from. I'd like you to summarize that story first, and that can be found on pages 64 to 69. I know some of these lines got kind of weird. Feel free to delete them. Everyone has their own copy. If you'd rather just do this, and then type in there, that is 100% okay. Whatever works for you. I want you to think about what he's trying to accomplish by telling that story. Next, I'm seeing that light's a little bit of an issue. Let's move my head. Ha! Okay. Next, I want us to look at the story that Jordan is telling. And then as after we learn about Wolfsheim. Okay? Jordan's telling the story about the night before Daisy's wedding, which is also very weird. Because people are usually, excited about getting married. Daisy's not. And she's got something that's a little confusing. So I want you to think about what the story is that Jordan's telling. And same kind of thing, if you want to delete those lines and just type in the space, that is fine. And think about what you think Jordan is trying to accomplish. Then, as a third level, there's the 2 stories and the person who's recounting all of that information to us. Remember, this story is being told after the events, way after everything in the story happens. So the specific information that Nick recalls is kind of interesting. So I want us to think about what Nick is trying to accomplish through this chapter. We hear Gatsby's past. We see one of Gatsby's former compatriots, the person he works with. And then we see that story from Jordan, which also includes Gatsby. If you're not entirely sure how, think about the letter that Daisy got. So, I want us to think about what ties all these stories together, because it was kind of a tough chapter. So that's the goal for today. Do your best. Write me some short information about it. I think I said 4 to 7 sentences. To summarize like 6 pages of content, it's not too tough. Include the main things that happen and tell me what you think the person is trying to accomplish there. Okay? So that is today's activity. Moving forward in the week. Next, tomorrow, I want you guys to read chapter 2, like it says right here. Or chapter 6, not chapter 2. Very different. Anyway. Work on your annotations and your questions. I will read the entirety of chapter 2 to you tomorrow if you'd like. I'll be on Google Meet. I'm just going to keep using the same session that I've made and keep going back to that. So starting at noon, I will be reading that chapter to you guys if you're interested. Should take maybe a half hour, maybe a little longer, depending on how much I pause, what you guys want out of it. You guys know I love to make commentary while I read to kind of model those interactions. So it's up to you. I can kind of tailor it to you guys. Just please try and be there on time. So that'll be that tomorrow. Then, oh no, I'm running out of time. We'll try to wrap this up fast then. Wednesday, I want you to update the evolution of Gatsby with the information from chapter 6. Thursday, I'm going to post a link to something called Padlet, which is kind of like a posting forum where you can post a question about anything we've read so far. And then I want you to answer 2 questions from other people. And then you have a 4-day weekend. And that's awesome. So if you guys need anything, I'll be on Classroom today from noon to 3. Please bring your questions.